Senator Shelley Capito of West Virginia about all this. Started by asking her about the potential of progress being made on the shutdown. As Eric just mentioned, the Senate planning to reconvene next week, canceling that week's recess. Here's what she said.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm always an optimist, but I think it also indicates that, unfortunately, Senator Schumer and others are content to try to reap the political benefit that they're seeing from a shutdown. And I think we should be working, and we're going to be working through what would have been a week for us to be back in our home district. So I think it's right and proper that we would be back here in D.C.
Well, important to spend time with you as a senior member of the Appropriations Committee, and I just wonder what you're hearing, even in terms of back channels, about conversations between Democrats and Republicans. We had spent some time a couple days ago with Senator Jeanne Shaheen, who seemed optimistic that at least some quiet conversations among colleagues were happening. How about on your end?
Well, definitely conversations are happening. I think, we all want to see the government opened, and we have a very simple fix to this. Just simply open it with a 7-week extension and no strings attached. And that's what's been offered 6 times and rejected. So we're going to keep moving forward like this, because I think it's the simplest, most understandable, and easiest way for us to get back to our business, whether it's appropriating. I would hope that we could get back to the 3 appropriations bills that we passed already on the Senate floor, but also other bills that we've passed out of committee, bipartisan, and let us work our will on that to make sure that we put the right emphasis on spending for the government. And we can't do it right now while we're still in this shutdown. But I think I'm hopeful, as Senator Shaheen, I guess, was last week, that we can get through this. But it's a total disservice to the American people.
Yeah, well, there is a report now that John Thune is considering offering Democrats an up or down vote on extending Obamacare subsidies, presumably after the government would reopen. Would you support an olive branch like that if it means passing the CR?
You know, if you look at what Senator Thune has said on the Senate floor numerous times, he has said to the Democrats and anybody who's listening, we're willing to negotiate and look at these subsidies, but we have to have the government open. And that's a simple proposition. And what blows back to me is, well, there's no trust. I disagree with that. I mean, I think our leader is very trustworthy and is a man of his word. And he will do this. He's told us he will do this. Many of us, I have 67,000 West Virginians who this is going to impact. So we need to get to the business of opening the government and then getting to the business of trying to find a solution here. And I think that's what he's been dedicated to the entire time, 9 days we've been shut down and before.
I was struck to learn that West Virginia has the 3rd highest number of federal employees per capita in the country. Senator, the president just moments ago was referring to permanent cuts, and many Democrats talked to us about the psychological, if not financial, impact of the rescissions packages that passed, and now the threat of permanent layoffs that would, of course, impact a lot of people in your state if the president chose to target West Virginia. Is that a conversation we should be having right now? Because it doesn't seem to be bringing anyone to the table.
You know, I think what the president is doing is trying to find the pressure points to get Chuck Schumer and the Democrats to say, okay, let's reopen the government, and then we'll get to the business of discussing our priorities as senators through the appropriations process. That's a pretty simple concept right there. And I think the president's trying to create pressure points. So the only way to alleviate what he's saying is to get the government open, start paying people on time, and pay respect to our troops who are under duress now because they may miss their next paycheck. This is a disservice to them and many, many others. And we see stoppages at airports, and this is just going to begin to crop up. Simple thing, open the government, begin to negotiate. Nobody's going to walk away from the negotiating table just because the government's open. When the government's open, that's when we negotiate.
I want to ask you about back pay for federal workers who are furloughed and will presumably return to work if not laid off. The president says there are some federal workers who did not deserve to be taken care of. That was his line the other day. I spoke with Speaker Johnson last evening, and he told me that there are different interpretations floating around, were his words, when it comes to the law that mandates federal workers be made whole following a shutdown. Is this up for grabs at this point, or do you have a clear view on this? Do you believe federal workers should be paid back?
Yes, my clear view is that federal workers should be paid back. This is no fault of their own. This is not because they didn't do something right. This is simply a political game that's being played so that their side can get better every day. That's what Chuck Schumer said just yesterday, I believe. So, no, I believe our federal workers should definitely get their back pay, and I think they will.
When it comes to layoffs, is that the purview of Russ Vogt, as you understand it? As long as the government is shut down, does OMB make that decision, or should Congress have a say in it?
Well, I think that the OMB and the president do have greater latitude during a shutdown to make some cuts. We know that's the direction that the president has been wanting to go by enlisting DOJ to make some of those cuts, and there has been streamlining of a lot of these departments. I would think this is probably something that they're looking at very, very closely, but I think it's important to note this has not occurred. This has not occurred to this point, and the best way to alleviate that pressure point is to open the government.
Yeah. You mentioned air traffic control, what we're seeing at airports, and the delays are stacking up here. This is important for you as a member of the Commerce Committee, and we understand that federal funding for airports in rural areas by way of the Essential Air Service, the EAS, runs out on Sunday. This is a lifeline for rural airports that wouldn't otherwise be able to function. Money goes to carriers to kind of make up for what could be lost revenues in those areas. We're talking about 170 airports, roughly. Senator, you know what it's like to have rural areas in your state. Are these airports about to go dark?
Well, we do have several of these airports in our state, and my latest information is that particularly when we're looking at the Clarksburg Airport, because that's who I most recently talked with, that Secretary Duffy has said that there's going to be funding there to keep these essential air services going. That it is critical to rural America, to other places that is not easy to get in and out of, and that pretty much is my whole state. So we want to keep that air service going. He says that he has the money to do it past the time of this week.
It sounds like that will come down to a community by community or airport by airport decision. Senator, more broadly, if we start seeing ground stops across the country, or more of them after we did yesterday in some pretty important hubs, do you think that's enough to dislodge a few Democrats to pass the CR?
I do. I think the pressure points certainly are travel. We're getting ready to have a 3-day weekend, with Monday being a holiday, and so I think that creates big pressure points for families that have planned things, that have saved for the year to go to visit a relative or go to have a nice little couple days off. People get mad. They get mad when their flight's canceled under regular circumstances. If they get delays because of government shutdowns, that definitely will up the anxiety. But I think this non-payment of our troops and non-payment of federal employees is another pressure point that comes October the 15th. So I'm hoping that we do a very simple reopen the government and then begin the negotiations.
The view of Republican Senator Shelley Capito of West Virginia as we move into what will be day 10